All right, and while they're joining, I think I'm going to get this kicked off. So before I share my screen and start showing some very cool things, I want to give everyone an update on what it's like in the payload world and what we're working on in all things payload and Figma. And one thing right off the bat, I hope that you have all seen that the payload team is still shipping like maniacs right now. I don't even have the number of features and fixes that we've released since our last community call, but I think it's like 400 bug fixes, 500. Maybe Nate in the chat can put the total, but there are a lot of things in active development. And Payload is still open source and it will remain open source and it's not going anywhere. And I just want to clarify any of that. Like, it's still kind of funny for me to see people popping into Reddit and they're like, hey, is Payload going to be put on a shelf? And I will tell you that I'm not going to let that happen. And there is no one in the world that wants that to happen. And we are around for the long run and we're still building. It's I think you're going to see a lot of very interesting things today. We're going to give you a glimpse of what we're working on next, and we'd like your feedback. All of this will be going into open source, and it's going to be a collaborative effort between all of us. So, hey, Brendan, we got some Figmates in the chat. That's pretty cool. All right, so yeah, you'll hear more from us soon about our plans, the bigger picture plans. But today we're talking about specific features and some new releases that we've come up with. So let me share my screen. And we have that tradition of just rapid fire blasting through a couple of the features that you may have missed. And I kind of like that. So we're doing that again really quickly. We're going to go through and we're going to show you some stuff that you may have missed. And it looks like I have to quit and reopen to share my screen. Classic. Goodbye.
Typical. It's like we haven't done these in a while.
No. Don't say that. Let's do one every week.
All right.
Welcome back.
Classic. All right. You should be able to see my screen. Yeah?
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to go quick like we always do. Trash. You probably saw that one. We call it Pat's Trash because Pat built it. Group by, a new way to organize the list view. Job scheduling is now automatic, so you don't need to actually queue up a job. You can just say, I want this task or this workflow to run every night. And then Payload just handles everything. So being able to run background jobs got a lot easier. You can now do find distinct, which is a new operation. So let's say you have a bunch of blog posts and you want to see all of the unique tags. You can just say find distinct, and then you can see all the unique values across all of your posts. And this goes for anything, any type of value inside a payload. You can just do find distinct and then see all the unique values. By popular request, Jared has rebuilt folder view pretty much and made it so that folders can be scoped to specific collections rather than being global. You can now copy paste array and row fields. And this was a community driven effort by Saeed, I believe.
Yeah.
Amazing. Huge. That I didn't even see the code. I don't know how, but that seemed very difficult. And then Saeed just comes in and builds it, which is crazy. Live preview and the edit view are now mounted next to each other on the root edit view. So you can quickly toggle back and forth between previewing and editing, and you don't lose any of your changes. You don't have to save. It's all on the same page. That was Jake. Authentication, we added sessions. It's now more secure, and basically like if you have a JWT and you're logged in, and if you log out, that JWT was technically still valid. But now that we have sessions, that JWT would be no more of no more use because the session was terminated. So it's a pretty cool thing. Collection level preferences, Jared just added a feature to be able to, if you go to, let's say, posts, and then you say by folder, well, next time you go to posts, it will remember that you chose the folder view as your default view. So there's more power here. We have had preferences on a document by document basis, but now we have them on collection basis as well. You can now store all of your blocks fields in a JSON column. And if, let's say, you don't want to have all the different blocks tables that Payload normally created, you can just jam all of it into a JSON column, and you can basically opt in to whichever blocks fields you want to store as JSON. Works out of the box. We now support read replicas in Postgres. So if you have 500 read replicas and you're building a massive online casino or something illegal, and you have a lot of read traffic, you can offload that read traffic to replicas. The entire version diff view has been overhauled. This is one of my favorite things that we've done recently. This was Alessio, and it was very difficult, but we actually have rich text diffing now, which is surprisingly something that nobody else has. Well, actually, it's not surprising because it was really hard, but you can reorder the document tabs. So like the edit, the API, the live preview, all those things, you can reorder them however you want. You can create dynamic pre-signed S3 URLs for downloads. That means you can keep your bucket locked down. You don't have to expose your bucket. You can just expose pre-signed URLs for file downloads. You can now query across polymorphic joins, which that was Sasha. I don't know how that works. Conditional blocks. You can expose specific blocks based on conditional logic, kind of like how conditional logic works elsewhere, where like if this field says, like if it's a template, like I want to use the sidebar template, well, then I only need to have these 3 blocks available. But if I want to use the full template, then I should have all 20 blocks. You can basically create conditional rules to show and hide blocks based on users, based on anything. Pretty big. Access control, yes. Conditional blocks does work with access control. I think that you have the user in the args of that condition. Virtual relationships, this is huge. We don't even have docs on this yet, but this was driven by our enterprise customers. And virtual fields, I don't know, Dan, we need to get some docs going for this, but there's basically an entire new world of things that you can do with virtual fields. One thing is that you can support has many now, but like just in general, virtual fields are massive. Yeah, NLV, you're going to have some video fodder. Multi-tenant, you can no longer accidentally change the tenant of a given document. Great. Jared loves this. He loves me hassling him about this. Rich text lexical. This is a pretty sneaky one. We're going to show you this in a minute because it's pretty cool. But the upload feature is basically completely redesigned in Lexical. And it's way more powerful, shows you a big thumbnail of the image, just lots of stuff. You can copy paste, there's a lot of stuff. We're gonna show that to you. It's also way easier to render a custom lexical field. Let's say in the admin panel, you need to create some comment system or something. You wanna render a lexical field and you want it to be with all the features that you know from Payload, but it doesn't really correspond to a field. It's like a custom view. Well, that is way, way easier now. So lots of detail behind that one, but query presets were redesigned. It's a huge feature. It's really just used if you have like hundreds of editors that want to share views and share like filters and columns and things like that. But we redesigned it and it's much better now. Now when you go to the folder view, it will remember that you are on the folder view. You can now set auto refresh to true to stay logged in. I think for those of you that are OGs around here, you might remember the stay logged in modal. Hey, looks like you haven't done anything in 20 minutes. Do you want to stay logged in? Well, you can completely disable that now just by saying auto refresh true, and that will just keep you logged in. You can now manage multiple payload instances in a single process. So get payload picks a new argument where you can specify different payload instances. And I think that's it for the rapid fire. That was a lot. And then, there's another 500 bug fixes. So yeah, the team has been very busy, but okay, let's go on to Cloudflare one-click. Paul, do you want to share your screen for this one, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I can. Oh,
Cool.
Can I? It's blurred out. What does that mean?
I might have to stop, but I'm going to guess that it's going to tell you to give permissions. So I'll just go to the release notes for now.
Okay.
So this was a huge requested feature, and the Cloudflare team actually significantly helped us build this. But we have full workers compatibility. We have full D1 compatibility. We have R2 compatibility. And you can deploy a payload project with one click fully to Cloudflare. So it's right there. And there's a full template for this. And I believe, Paul, did we add this to the create-payload-app?
No, but we can.
Yeah, we should do that too. Basically, yeah, Cloudflare is a fully first-party supported way to deploy payload now, and it's pretty great. You can connect it to D1, which is a replicated SQLite database, so that everywhere that you have an edge Cloudflare worker, there's a D1 replica right next to it, and it's very fast. Cloudflare actually used this template to build Cloudflare TV, which is a huge streaming website for Cloudflare. It's pretty big. Yeah, I think we are recording this, Scott. Hey, Scott, welcome. Yeah, so Cloudflare One Click is now live as of this morning, so you can give it a shot. Pretty cool. And now, Paul, you are going to need to share your screen for this e-commerce.
Yeah, you can try and stop sharing, and then let me see if I can.
All right, let's see. If you need to join, quit and rejoin, then do it.
Shout out to Sasha also on the Cloudflare work.
Yeah, Paul and Sasha were working closely with Cloudflare, and there are still some edge cases like big GraphQL queries need a little bit of work yet, but I mean, everything else is there. It's pretty great. Cloudflare has been opening up PRs against payload. I don't know if any of you have noticed that. That's just, I love it. I love it.
Is anyone from Cloudflare on the call?
It's a good question.
Nice.
Hey,
Good, yes.
Nice. All right. Paul, how you looking?
Okay, I think I got it. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so this is our template right now. You can install it just by running this command or any other means. It's part of the CPA. And the docs are under the ecosystem. It has its own tab. It's quite complex. When you set it up, you'll just get the front end. And then in the admin panel, after you register, you can seed your data. But out of the box, we basically create for you products, carts, addresses, orders, transactions, and variants. So for example, here's a t-shirt with all of its variants and live preview and stuff as well, set up out of the box. Yeah, and the front end as well. So there's a lot here to show. I don't know how much time we've allocated to e-commerce, but variant selectors, checkout. So for example, an account, you have your addresses that you can manage. A lot of the stuff is managed via hooks. So we just kind of give you, I'm going to show you the code actually right now. So for the cart, for example, we have a use cart hook, and you just import that from our package, and yeah, it tries to automatically pull in the cart on load for the user or for a guest user as well. But we've set up checkout. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm better moving off with questions if there's any of those right now. I don't know where.
Let me hit some high notes for you, Paul.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we heard from our 2.0 e-commerce template have been completely fixed. And a couple of the big ones are that we now have payment method adapters. So everything that processes a payment is now on an adapter basis, meaning that we can build additional adapters as necessary. So whatever you want to use, it should work very, very well. The abstraction for payment adapters is very similar to how databases work. You do not have to rely on Stripe. Stripe is the only one that we have right now, but you can easily add payment method adapters. And this is something that we want to be able to support deeply. And outside of payment adapters, Another thing that we heard from our e-commerce template on 2.0 was that it was very complex. Like the template itself had a lot of code, and templates should be simple. Templates should not require you to like change things and then like not be able to accept new updates from payload, right? We needed to modularize some of the logic in the template. So we actually have an e-commerce plugin now. Now the vast majority of the logic is encapsulated in an e-commerce plugin. And that means that the template code is way more simple. And Paul has done a great job of taking out as much of the complexity as we can from that e-commerce template and placing it into that plugin so that things like the cart are just handled for you. There's a simple React hook, use cart. And there's a simple React hook for being able to interact with the cart and things like that. All of the e-commerce stuff related functionality is now abstracted out of the template so that you can take that template, fire up cursor or whatever you're going to do and go crazy with the design and the layout and the functionality without having to maintain or trip over any of the built-in logic. So that's huge. The last thing is that we have product variants now, and product variants are incredibly difficult to model correctly. Like creating a good user experience for product variants. I don't know if there's anybody that's ever tried to build this from scratch before, but like even Shopify's product variants are not great. Nobody's product variants are great. They're very complex by nature. I don't even, Paul, what are the different, like we have variant types, we have variant options, we have variants, we have products.
Yeah, so variant types are kind of like your colors and sizes, just kind of encompassing, yeah, different types of variants that you can have. And then each variant type has its own variant, a select list of variant options, like small, medium, extra large, and so on. And then each variant, now that's the actual item that you can buy, like an individual product or SKU, and that will have a relation to specific variant options based on what the product supports. And you can customize all of these, so you can easily add like material or something else that's new, and then create variants for each of these options.
And price those variants accordingly, right?
Yeah, you can price them, and they can have their own inventory as well.
Yeah, I think that's so
Yep.
powerful. Nice work.
Yep. And Rich has a question about order management. We do have orders and transactions baked into the admin panel, and it automatically de-increments the stock, the inventory of all the products that were ordered and all the things. And you can then use payload hooks because all of this is just payload, right? So if you know how payload works, you know about hooks, then when an order is received and you need to go send that order out to your ERP or whatever you're doing, you can just send it out with a hook, just like you can do anywhere else in payload. So the e-commerce template, so one thing, this is beta, e-commerce is beta. And we would love if we could make this a community effort and get your hands on it, get feedback, try to build a store. One of the ideas earlier was that we would build a payload merch store and start selling these skateboards that you can see behind Sean, and maybe some t-shirts, and let some of our internal inside jokes leak out to the public, which a lot of you already know in Discord. There's 1,000 emojis of Sean, 1,000 emojis of Nate. Couple of me, only a couple. Yep, there we go. Let's get the chat going with some emojis. Yep. Paul, that's a good one. Everybody loves the Paul one. Oh, Jared, carrot.
Yeah, so just to say, we've tried to kind of model the data based on what Stripe has as well, and some of the other shops where you can have transactions are separate from the orders, and hopefully some of this stuff, it helps you track your analytics in a server-side way. Like, yeah, we're gonna expand on it. It's beta. Breaking changes are going to happen. That's the big red flag I want to put on it right now. But yeah, I'm waiting for feedback. And there's a temp e-commerce channel here on Discord. So any bugs, any issues, anything you want to highlight, you can just go in there.
Yeah, we want your feedback. Shipping, we want to build a shipping integration, but right now you would just have to handle that manually. We accept the address, we put the order into a processing state, and you can manually ship and then mark it as shipped afterwards. But we do want to build integrations for that.
Yeah, same for taxes. The issue is both of them are extremely complex. So that's why we kind of need your feedback then to see use cases in particular. If we build an integration, like what services are most important and so on.
Right. Okay. We have a lot more to cover.
Yep,
So
let's
we
stop.
need to keep cruising. So let's see what's next. Alessio, do you want to share about images?
Sure. First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Unlike last time. All right, perfect. Let me share my screen. Ugh, I need to restart Discord.
Yep. Okay. For anybody that's going to share, I think Alessio, you're going to share, and then Paul, you can share the SDK, or I'll share the SDK. I think I can share everything from this point out. Why did I just say that out loud? I spoiled it myself. Chat's spoiling the SDK, and I'm spoiling it myself. Ah, God.
All right. Can you still hear me?
Yep. And my fingers are crossed for you.
Yep. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So first thing, just briefly, it's not released yet, but we're going to ship a code block by default. Looks like that. You can just import it from rich text lexical like this. Where is it? Code block. And then simply add it to your blocks feature. So it's going to use our existing blocks feature to do that. And it supports stuff like Markdown. So you can write backtick, TS, and it will create that. You can select the language here. You can copy and paste. All that works fine. And it serves as a great example on how you can use the blocks feature to make your own stuff like that as well, since it just uses existing APIs. Yep, that should be available sometime this week, I would expect. And then the largest UX improvement to Lexical we've done in a while would be uploads. Previously, if you created an image, it would show a very small thumbnail and a very large area for meta information. And now it's completely the opposite. And you can drag and drop images. So you don't have to go to the uploads collection if you want to add an image and add it here and then select it. You can just straight up drag the image into the text editor. And in case you have any required fields, you can enter them here or select the collection you want to upload to. You click save. And then that's what it looks like. So it's a lot cleaner. Yeah, you can upload multiple images as well because we use the bulk uploads UI we already have. There we go. You can copy and paste images. So that, for example.
Alessio, what Wikipedia page was that?
Cat.
Cats? Nice.
Kind of dark. It's cool. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
So this came out of Payload dogfooding our own product for things internally. And we realized that images were kind of bad in rich text. And they're still going to get a lot more love from this point out. But we want to make a concentrated effort to continue dogfooding our own products because it just shows like the lacking areas. And yeah, so this is getting better. It will continue to get better. We got some topics coming up that will be related to that, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, so new rich text things coming left and right. We can't really demo easily the new lexical on-demand rendering because that's crazy. Oh, well,
We can actually. I have it here in the same. Let me just do it real quick. So in this collection, this text editor is completely on-demand rendered. So we have a JSON field with a custom field component, and you can find that here. And we now expose a render lexical method. So you can import that, use it here. There's docs on how to use that. You can manage the value and set value outside of a form if you want. And it's rendered here like that. And yeah, we used it internally to build like a Reddit-like commenting system. So there's a bunch of use cases probably.
Yeah, we've had a couple customers ask us like, how do I just render a lexical field? And now that's super easy, just a function. But it was very difficult. So nice to have. Thank you, Alessio. Rich text mania. Also, Alessio, I don't know if you were keeping up with the chat just now, but a lot of people took a lot of offense to your red browser.
You're going to have to
Browser is
apologize.
the best browser.
Yeah, the people are mad. We really, all right. So I'm going to take over and share my screen again. So big release here. And one thing that I accidentally spoiled for us already is that we released the SDK, the REST SDK. It's fully typed. It's like a local API, but it's just using the REST API behind the scenes. Very powerful. I think this is one of the most upvoted pull requests that we've had, but it is officially out. So you can just do sdk.find, and then we handle everything in a fully typed way for you, which is huge. So the docs are published to the REST API overview page, and you can go and read about it, but you can install this package in your own front end and be able to interact with the REST API in a dramatically simplified way. This was built by Sasha pretty much fully, right? Sasha, you just took this one and ran with it. And then it sat on my plate for way too long. And they finally said, hey, please review this. The people want it. And then I did. So here we are. But it's beautiful. All you do is you just create a new class, and then you pass it your base URL of your REST API. And notice how you can pass in the types from your config. That's how basically everything is fully typed in this REST API. It's basically the exact same concept as the local API, but it works over REST. So if you don't want to pollute your front end with the full payload local API, then you can use this. I do think that the local API still has performance benefits because it just goes straight to the database rather than goes through a REST API, but you can kind of make that decision based on your own use cases. So pretty powerful. Okay, now there's a lot more features, a lot more bug fixes, but I think we should talk about roadmap and some big things that are on our priorities list, which you may have already seen being posted to our GitHub, but I'm going to walk you through them one by one. So the first one, I just want to give a quick update on Modular Dashboards. This is completely underway. It's actually fully functional already. There is a branch that Herman on the team will be sharing. It's very close, coming along. You've probably already all seen this, this feature, but it's great. You should stay along with that branch, and it will be a PR in the near future, but you can expect this to be coming soon. I don't want to jinx my computer. Basically, yeah, Elliot, I'll try. Yeah, you can go and edit your own dashboard and reorganize all the little widgets that appear on the dashboard and edit individual widgets and add widgets and basically control your own admin UI. And it will save to your preferences. So pretty powerful. So this is coming soon. The next one is branching. Now, this is something that has been asked for by a bunch of our enterprise customers. And basically the scenario is, let's say that you need to start preparing content for 3 different campaigns. And Payload, as you know, right now has drafts and published documents, and it's got version history and everything. But we want to take it a step further and bring branching into the equation so that you can create a Christmas branch, and you can create a Halloween branch and a Valentine's Day branch and work on these things in parallel with one another. And then when you go to merge the branch, you can see a diff of all the documents that were created, all the edits to existing documents, and then it will save like a point in time snapshot of, okay, I want to merge this Christmas branch. Bam, I can see all the changes, click merge. I could even schedule that merge into the future. Branching is a huge thing. It's not fully designed yet, but it will be. But I just want to know, we all want to know, if you've used a CMS that has good branching, Please stay in the loop with this RFC and let us know what you think. There's a lot of detail on here. Tylen is going to be working through the design of this, but it's a big feature and we need to get it right. And we need your help designing that. Cool. So the next one, the UI schema builder. Jake, do you want to add some comments to this one?
No, why don't you go ahead and go through it, and I'll add if I feel like I need to.
Cool.
What?
You didn't hear me? Is my audio bad?
No, he did. He's
Why is he so
yeah.
quiet? Is it just
He sounded good to me. I don't know. Content Stack. Yeah, I have never I've used Content Stack in one project in 2020, and then I forgot about it. So that's where Drew in the chat comes in. Please let us know what you like about it. All right. So UI-based config builder. The number one most important thing is that this does not in any way replace the code-based nature of Payload. We are code-based on purpose. And in most ways, that's what differentiates Payload from all the other CMSs. Everybody understands the importance of being able to version control your schema. And that's not going away. But you can think about this as like a lower friction entry point for building out and riffing on content models. Maybe you're working with a design team and they want to make sure that the admin panel is as clean and as simple as possible. Well, these designers don't know how to write TypeScript. And it would be nice if we could give them a way to prototype out a content model and then give escape hatches to say, okay, once it's in a good spot, the developer can export it to TypeScript and then bring it into source control, right? So this is basically like an iterative thing where we can enable a new way to manage, basically dynamically define a config in UI. And if you are pretty familiar with Payload, you understand that our config is more powerful than JSON, but it's pretty similar to JSON. So what we're thinking is that we could actually have some UI-based config builder store the config as JSON in the database, and then in payload.init, we would just retrieve that JSON config as a starting point, and then bring in your code-based config, and the code would take priority and override. But basically, we would just seamlessly merge in the UI-based config with the code-based config. And there will be some deduplication efforts going here. But we have a lot of questions for all of you as well on this. For example, where do you define these configs? Do you define them as though you're looking at the editor view? Like, do you literally go to the edit view and say edit collection and then be able to like see your fields and drag and drop them around and move them that way, add a field, change a field to required or localized or whatever? Yes, there will be type safety, Navan. We would use your declarative pattern for like the UI-based pattern, and we would just inherit that when we go to generate types. So yeah, this is a new thing that we're going to be building. It's going to lower the friction, but we do have some open questions on this one as well. So please jump in there and review the suggested approach and let us know what you think. Okay. Design will be coming for this one soon. The next one, Jared, do you want to talk through tree view?
Yeah, I can talk about it real quick. So we're kind of exploring, well, I've already started writing some of the code for it, but we're exploring some design concepts for a new view, kind of like how Nested Docs, the plugin, works. It works fundamentally different, but like the view will show you like tree hierarchy, which you can see if you scroll down. James, do you want me to share my screen or you just share?
I can share. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just allows you to like manage your content in a nested format. And you can do this like not just for pages, but you could do this like if you're creating tags, like if you're creating like a tag hierarchy, you could use the same view to manage all of your tags or your pages or whatever else. And then this would work also like with the join field. So if you do create a tags collection, then you could like put a join collection or join field on that collection, and then you could like see what documents have this tag. But it's really just like the admin view, being able to manage your content. It'll have all the drag and drop stuff like folders and niceties like that. Yeah, we're just kind of exploring some of the stuff. if you want to give feedback on design or functionality or things that you need or would like. If you're using the nested docs plugin and it doesn't do something, or if you don't like something, just let us know.
Yeah, tree view is kind of a big feature. It is different than folder view. You know, we're kind of entering to a territory where there are basically 3 different future ways that you can browse content in Payload. You can go to the table view, you can go to folder view, and now soon you'll be able to go to tree view, which name TBD. That is one thing we could probably use a hand on. But basically, we kind of need to evolve the design of Payload to keep up with all of this, right? There's a lot of moving pieces here. There's a lot of different ways that you can consume content. And for example, like let's say you do want to go with the tags approach. And I want to see all of the documents that are associated with the Acme Motors 2026 sedan base package, right? And it could be media, and it could be PDFs, and it could be blog posts, and it could be landing pages, and all the things. You just want to be able to browse by tag and then click on a tag and see all the documents that are related to that tag. And the difference with folders here is that in the folders world, a document always has one folder. But in this tree view world, this can lend itself to basically a better nested docs, but also a way to be able to say, like, this document has these X tags, and I can go to any one of those tags and see this document. So it's basically like an extension to folders, or it's a parallel path to folders. Very different feature, but it has kind of like the same types of annotations on how you will browse and find content. This is a big feature. This one is very important. We are actively building out the backend. We do have the design quite a ways along, but we'd like for you to review this RFC as well. And at this point, obviously, we're throwing out a bunch of RFCs, and you might be asking, like, which ones do we want to prioritize? We're building all of these. We've got more to come yet that I'm going to talk about shortly. But if you can if you have a vested interest in any one of these things, you want to come and help us shape the feature, that would be great. So tree view is yet another one. And then finally, I think the one that I am most excited about is an admin design update. And this is something we've wanted to do for a very long time. And we get a lot of feedback on this. Even in the chat today, I saw somebody say that Payload's admin is basic, which hurts my feelings, but I get it. So take that for what it is. Rai from Figma, we've been working with our Figma counterparts. Basically, the people that are working on Payload has expanded significantly. And we're joining together to create something better than we ever could have on our own. Our team has grown. The amount of focus that we put on Payload has grown. And the thing that's coming up next is to take Payload's design and make it truly best in class. And this will come with Payload 4.0, right? It's not going to be an immediate thing, but we want to make this good. We want to make it right. We want to make it an evolution. We don't want to throw away everything that we've had. We want to evolve the user experience and even the user interface. But alongside of this, we have the ability to implement improvements. Like, for example, one thing, we've got a small list of things like of what needs to improve here, but we will shortly have 3 different ways to browse content: by folder, by table, and by tree view. And we need to unite those things in probably a new navigational surface area. Basically, the sky's the limit here. We want to make it easy to migrate from 3.0 to 4.0, but we also want to make it markedly improved. So everything from the way that the drawers work to the modals, the styling, the navigation, the sidebar nav. What do we do with the sidebar nav? Do we like it? Do we want to change it? Do we want to add things to it? Relationships, styling in general. Do we want to introduce some basic colors? Do we want to change the sizing and the scale of the UI? All of this is up for grabs, and we'd like for your feedback on this. So please look through this RFC. Rai will be heavily involved in this, as will the Payload designers and myself. And we're going to be building this right into open source. So let's make this happen together. And it's very exciting. Comments, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Payload UI headless. That could be a very big challenge. We can think through it. As far as Payload Cloud, that's in the bucket of you will hear more soon from us. We are working on some very exciting things. And same with the design side. I think there's a comment in here, payload front end, Figma planning, anything on the design side. Keep an eye out. You're going to hear more from us soon on a great many things. Today's about open source. Today is about the framework. Today is about the core. Everything we talked about today will be just completely open source. Go run it wherever you want. WebSocket is also on the radar. We don't have an RFC ready for that yet, but we are working on that actively. Cool. Did I forget anything? Anybody else have anything to add? All right.
Nope.
I like it. I'm going to stop sharing. Cool. We're pretty spot on with about 45 minutes cadence for these. I like it. The beer? Oh, the beer will come at 5 o'clock. Yeah. I'm going to find a beer for sure. All right. We'll keep up with the chat. There's a lot of questions in here. We'll go back and triage everything, make sure that everybody gets answers. But very good. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. And there's more coming soon, so keep an eye out.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.